Lema misayele, lama gimel lamed aleph. Lema misayele, lu'ula, who says that bia b'mixas is shma bia. If you go in a little bit, so it's considered to be going in fully. So we have a proof that a little bit of going in is considered to be going in. Where do we see this? Kol hasmicho shahayusham kore alehen ani tekef l'smicha shchita. In general, anytime we know you have to do smicha and you have to do shchita. In general, before you do the smicha, you do the shchita. Anytime that you do the smicha, it has to be immediately followed in time and in place by the shchita. So if I do the smicha now, I need to do the shchita right afterwards. If I do the smicha in this part of the temple, I need to then do the shchita in this part of the temple as well. Chutz mizu, except for this, a mitzora, shahaisa b'shar Nikanor, who did the smicha at shar Nikanor, she'ein mitzora yachol likanes l'sham at shemazin alav midam chataso midam hashamo. So by the mitzora, there would be an exception because he couldn't go in to where they would shecht. And since they needed to shecht in the temple courtyard, so he couldn't go into the temple courtyard. So they would go to Shar Nikanor, which was as close as you can get, and he would do the smicha there, and then they would take the animal in and do the shechita. For those that don't have an art scroll, there's a picture in the art scroll on the bottom right. So you see over here, it says the gate of Nikanor. And then it says ramp, altar, A. We're going to discuss that in just a moment. There's 22 amos, but for now, what we're basically discussing is the temple courtyard. And we say in general, you have to do the shechita and therefore the smicha in the temple courtyard. Mitzora can't go into the temple courtyard. So what does he do? So he does a smicha by Shar Nikanor, which is right outside the temple courtyard, so that he can see the place where they're going to do the shechita. He does a smicha right there, and then they bring the animal inside, and right away they do the shechita. So because it's impossible to do the smicha and the shechita in the same location, because they can't shecht outside and he can't do the smicha inside, therefore they do the smicha as close as they can, and then they do the shechita inside, because he himself needs to do the smicha. So, the gate of Nikanor is right here. You have the art scroll, no? You don't have the picture?
Not in my...
You should get your money back, doctor.
My portable one.
Right here, this is the, it should be in the portable one. This is in the eastern corner. This is really north-south like this.
What is Izrat Nashim?
We're not talking about the Ezrat Nashim.
Nikanor, Shar Nikanor was in Izrat Nashim.
It was in the Ezrat Nashim going into the Azara.
Yeah, but they didn't go.
They would go right here. So this is how you'd look at it. He would stand here, and he would stand here, do the smicha, and then they would do the shechita in here. So what's the proof? What does this have to do with anything? How does this prove, like Ula, that if you go in a little bit, it's considered to be the whole thing? Well, v'yamar bia b'mixas lo shma bia leil yadei v'lismoch. I don't understand. If you need to do the shechita here, in this location, so then why don't you just have him lean over and do the smicha? He could stand in Shar Nikanor, but why doesn't he lean over into the temple courtyard? And when he's leaning over, he could do the smicha from standing in Shar Nikanor. If this is the temple courtyard, he can go from outside, lean over, do it here, and then they can do the shechita right there because they're in the temple courtyard. The fact that they don't make that suggestion shows that he can't stick his hands in, because even a little bit of sticking your hands in, even a mixas bia, a little bit of coming into the courtyard, even with your hands, that's considered to be shma bia. So that's the proof for Rabbi, that's the proof for Ula. Says the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Yosef Hamani, who is this? No, there's no proof. This is Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Hida Amar Mirache Ksafon. This is according to Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, who says that when you shech the korban, it can't be done right here. Your suggestion is only a proof if you could shech the korban right here by the gate of Nikanor, right inside the gate. But he says you have to shecht it here in zone number A. Zone number A is 22 amos, about 40-something feet from the gate. So he can't do, even if he would put his hands in, even if you say lo shmabiyah, that it's not a problem, logistically he can't do that, because if the shechita and the smicha need to be in the same spot, then you're not accomplishing anything anyway. So what's the purpose of putting his hands in and doing it in that location if he's not going to be able to anyway shecht it there? He might as well not put his hands in at all, do the smicha by the gate, and then lemaisa, you bring it in and you shecht it in zone A. But either way, if you don't...
How will come in zone A?
He's not doing the shechita.
Yeah, how will come to zone A?
He's not doing it, the shechita. The Kohen.
Come there.
No, the Kohen's doing it. After he gets pure, he can come in. But he's going to do the smicha over here, and then the Kohen's going to take the animal and shecht it here for him. He's not going into zone A.
You have to go outside, north.
No, but I'm saying he's not going to zone A at all until he becomes tahor. But now the Gemara asks your question, Viliyave pishpesh. So you know what? It needs to be done in zone A. So I have a good suggestion. Why don't we make a door right here? Shar Nicanor is here. Make a door over here. Let him stand by the door by zone A. So now the animal's in zone A where it needs to be shechted. Let him stand over here and do the smicha from outside zone A into zone A. Okay, the fact that we don't make that suggestion shows that clearly that's not an option, and the reason that that's not an option must be because bia b'mixas is shmei bia. That if he would do that, it would be aser, because just like he can't walk into zone A, he can't even put his hands into zone A. Therefore, we have a proof again for Ula. The fact that they don't suggest to make a door by zone A, there clearly shows that bia b'mixas is shmei bia. Says Gemara, you can't prove from anything from there either. Abai v'rava damri tavayu hakol b'chsav miyad Hashem alai hiskil kol melech hazat tavnis. David HaMelech says no. The reason that they didn't make a door there doesn't prove anything. The reason that they didn't make a door there is because God said these are the openings and these are the entrances, and you don't do anything except for what I tell you. And therefore, at the end of the day, the reason that they didn't make the door there is not because it wouldn't have helped anyway. Enachanami. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu would have said to make a door there, then maybe one could have argued that bia b'mixas lo shmei bia, and we would have done the smicha there. But since Amaisa Hashem says you can't make any other doors, we don't have the door there. That's why there's no door, and therefore there's no proof. Says the Gemara, Ika Damre Amar of Yosef, Kol Asomech Rosho V'Rubo Machnes. Another way to learn it is Rabbi Yosef says you can't make any proof from here, because at the end of the day, the reason that he doesn't do the smicha is not because bia b'mixas is shmei bia or lav shmei bia. It has nothing to do with that. The reason that he can't do the smicha is because how does smicha work? What does it mean when you do smicha on an animal? What do? You don't just go like this, like you give your children a blessing on Friday night. You literally have to lean all of your weight on the thing. It's interesting, by Shmona Esrei, so we know that you can hold on a little bit to a stender. If you like this, you can hold on to a stender. The halacha is that you have to be able to support yourself without the stender. If you're literally leaning to the point where most of your body weight is on the stender, that if they took the stender away you would fall, that's not considered to be standing up during Shemona Esrei. So you need to stand up, you can hold on to the stender, you can put your sitter there, but you have to not have most of your body weight. By smicha, it's the opposite. By smicha, you specifically need most of your body weight. I feel bad for the people in the video. For smicha, you need all of your body weight on the animal. So when you have the animal here, you can't just go like this. You don't do that. You go like this, and you lean most of your body weight on the animal. If that's true, how do you do that? You can only do that if you have rosh over rubo, if you have your head and most of your body. So if you're doing smicha inside the azara, the reason that you can't do smicha like that by Shar Nicanor is because at the end of the day, if you go like this, it's not a matter of bia b'mixas, it's a matter of your almost entire body. We were talking about we originally thought the whole discussion was sticking your hand in. If this is the line and you're a mitzorah, then we're talking about sticking your hand in. Is that considered as if your whole body in? Now we're suggesting that this whole discussion here is no proof about sticking your hand in. We're not talking about sticking your hand in. We're talking about literally having to put, if this is the line, literally having to put your body, or most of your body, and your head inside. That's much different than sticking your hand. That's not this discussion. Everybody agrees that most of your body and your hand would be as if it's your whole body, and that's definitely usher. So therefore you have no proofs over here about whether you could stick your hand in. We're trying to figure out, can you stick your hand in or not? We tried to say, well, maybe if there's an entrance. No, there's no discussion about sticking your hand in. Right now we're talking about Rosh over Rubo. That's why he needs to stand out Shar Nicanor. But Enachanami, maybe in general the concept of Bia b'mixas is Lo Shmei Bia. Maybe in general if you just go like this and stick your hand in, then maybe it's not like Ula. Maybe you wouldn't be Chaya for that. Over here we're not discussing that. Over here we're talking about leaning most of your body, which is considered to be your whole body, into the temple courtyard. Says the Gemara, my time, but why do you have to use Rosh over Rubo? Kol kocho ba'inan hilkoch lo efshar. You need all of your koach, and in order to have all of your koach on the animal, therefore it's impossible that you don't have Rosh over Rubo there. My kisavar. So now the question becomes the following. Forget about whether you're doing your whole body. So now we have no proof for Ula. We're not talking about Bia Mixas, maybe or not. So now we're saying again, because the Mitzorah can come into the temple courtyard, what does he do? He does the whole smicha process by the Shar Nicanor. Then the Kohen takes the animal and shechs it on the altar. Says Gemara, I don't understand. There's an Isser of going into the temple courtyard. But there's an Asay, a Mitzvah Asay of what? We'll see in a second, doing the smicha. and maybe doing the smicha right before the shechita. So we have a concept in halacha that when you have an asay, Rashi doesn't say specifically, but when you have an asay and a los asay, which one wins? Asay doch a los asay. An asay pushes off a los asay. We know that there are asays. I'm wearing tzitzis now. I'm wearing wool tzitzis with linen. Right? The tzitzis are made out of wool, and there's the beged is made out of wool and linen sometimes. Why is that not shadnis? Asay of tzitzis is docha the los asay of shadnis. And there's different things like that, where an asay is going to push off. The asay of bris milah is docha the los asay of keeping Shabbos. That's why on Shabbos we do a bris milah when it's the 8th day, because the mitzvah asay, the positive commandment of doing a bris milah on Shabbos, pushes off the negative commandment of making a wound, of causing blood on Shabbos. And it comes up many, many times like that.
You don't do smicha on Shabbos.
What?
You don't do smicha on Shabbos or something.
Okay, but we're not talking about Shabbos now. We're talking about
the concept. But I'm saying the concept is not always applicable, right?
It's not always applicable, but there are cases where you have asay docha los asay. $5. I'll sell you this.
Yeah.
Here you go.
If he has to lean on the animal, and he can't go inside the Zor there, the animal, and he's going to do it in the gate, and the animal has to come to him.
It sounds like the animal's coming outside.
So then the animal's head is outside the...
Or maybe the animal's right.
He's allowed to do that?
So it sounds like that's what he's doing. Yeah.
It's okay for the animal to leave?
It sounds like the animal, yeah. That's what it sounds like. Says the Gemara.
From here, Onekonor, come outside, come to here.
He could, but he's not going in. But he can't go in right now.
No, in the other way. Inside he could not come.
After he becomes tahor, he can come.
No, he could not. No
Why?
way. Inside, no way. The Israeli side. He could not room. That is don't come and come outside.
Okay, but again, either way, he's okay. Fine. Okay, that's eventually when he becomes tahor. Yes. But we're talking about before that point. Anyway, we're talking about now that he's tamei. Okay. We're talking about now that he's a mitzora. So says the Gemara, my kisavra. What's going on here? Ikisavra smichas asha mitzora deoraisa. If you say first of all that doing the smicha is deoraisa, usually smicha is deoraisa. That's a biblical commandment. But over here, maybe by a mitzora, it wouldn't be deoraisa because it's different. It works different. A regular smicha works for a kapara. Over here, it's working just to make him tahor. So let's take granted that the smicha is deoraisa, and the fact v'tekef l'smicha shchita daraisa, right? There's two things we're dealing with here. First of all, he has to do smicha, and the second thing is that the smicha needs to be immediately preceded by, in time and place, by the shchita. That's what we're trying to figure out over here. That's why we're sort of stuck, because we can't do the smicha inside of the temple courtyard, and we can't do the shchita outside the temple courtyard. So we're stuck. We do the smicha as close to the temple courtyard as we can, and then we take it right away. But he says, I understand. If the smicha is daraisa, that he needs to do smicha on a biblical level, and he needs to do the shechita right after the smicha on a biblical level. So what are we talking about? What's the problem? Leo v'lismach la'adai d'rachman amar. God said he needs to do smicha. He needs to do smicha right before the shechita. Let that push off the negative commandment of a mitzorah, somebody who's tamei going into the temple courtyard, and let him go in. And shalom al Yisrael. Says Gemara, you're right. On a deoraisa level, on a biblical level, he should be able to go in and do the smicha, even though he's tamei, because God says you have an asay to do smicha. The problem is, gzeira shema yarbe b'psios. Jews are nosy, so what's going to happen? He's going to walk into the temple courtyard, and if he would theoretically walk straight to where he needs to do the smicha, and then walk straight out, no problem. But what's he going to do? He's going to see his friend over there, and he's going to start walking towards his friend and hocking with his friend. Oh, I haven't seen you in such a long time, right? We know what happens in shul, in the temple courtyard, right? You start schmoozing. So over here as well, if we knew he was going to walk, Gezerah midirabanan, he can't go in there, because if he takes even one extra step in the temple courtyard unnecessarily, not connected to the shechita, then lemaisa, he's going to be chayav for going into the temple courtyard when he's tamei. But you're right, in a chanami, on a deoraisa level, he should be able to go in and then come out. There's another reason why you can't go in. Smichas Hashem mitzorah deoraisa. The smichas deoraisa, but v'tekev the smicha shchita lav deoraisa. The fact that he needs to do smichas deoraisa, but he could do the smicha outside of the temple courtyard, because it doesn't have to be immediately followed by the shchita on a deoraisa level. Therefore, we can fulfill the deoraisa level according to this opinion by doing the smicha outside by the gate of Nicanor. And since shchita does not have to follow the smicha on a deoraisa level according to this opinion, do the smicha right outside the gate of Nicanor, and then bring the animal in and do the shchita inside. Says Gemara, Mesa, I understand. We have a pasuk v'samach v'shachat ma smicha b'torah and av shchita b'torah. There's a clear pasuk that connects the smicha and the shchita. Just like the smicha needs to be done with Torah people, the shchita Lechatchila needs to be done with tahor, and we said in the Mishnah that b'diavad, if it's done with a tamei person, it'll work. But the other way as well, ma shchita, just like the shchita needs to be done, what? Just like the smicha needs to be done with X, shchita needs to be done with X as well. But so too with samach v'shachad, it sounds like the smicha needs to be immediately preceding the shchita. So how can you say that lemaisa it's not deoraisa? Says Gemara v'iyamart lav deoraisa bitmei nami mishkachas. And if you say it's not deoraisa and you're not making this connection between smicha and shchita, so then what's the problem with having shchita bid tehorin? Why do you have to have a bid tehorin? Says the Gemara, no, eleipach. We clearly make this connection, and smicha and then shchita is definitely doraisa. The difference is smichas asha mitzora lav doraisa. V'tekev l'smicha shchita doraisa. So then you're right. In general, smicha needs to be done immediately before shchita. The problem is that that's only for regular smicha. Smicha of a mitzora, the fact that he leans, the smicha of a mitzora does not have to be done on a doraisa level. That's only midirabanan, because it's different than a regular smicha. A regular smicha, when you're doing it for a kapara, you're doing it so that you'll be forgiven. That you have to do smicha. The fact that a mitzora is going to become pure, is going to become tahor based on the smicha, needs to do smicha, is only dirabanan. So now we have a little bit of a problem. On one hand, we have a biblical law that in general smicha needs to be done right before shchita. But over here we have another law that the smicha of a mitzora is not biblical. Therefore, what do we say? Well, if the smicha of a mitzora is not biblical, then he doesn't fit into the category of smicha being right before shchita. Therefore, what do you say? Therefore, he does the smicha outside of the gate of Nicanor, and then the shchita can take place afterwards inside of the temple courtyard. But that's how it works out. No matter how you learn this, you don't have a proof for Ula, who said that if you stick your hand in, it's as if you went in yourself. And the fact that over here the mitzora is different is for numerous reasons. But that's the end of this discussion right here. Any questions? Okay. Lama Gimel Lama Beis. Ravina Amar. Start a little bit of a new discussion, connected but new. Le'inyan Malkus Itmar. Now, if you remember, if you flip back to Lamed Beis Amid Beis, which is 1 page in the Gemara and 7 pages in the Art School. Ravina Amar. So what does Ravina say? Le'inyan Malkus Itmar. If you look at Lamed Beis Amid Beis, on the 8th line, it says as follows. Amar Ula Amar Eish Lakish. Tamei shehichnis yado lifnim loka. We have different things about a tamei person. We know a tamei person is not allowed to go into the temple courtyard. Now the question is he not allowed to go in himself, or is it even a problem if he sticks his hand in? So there's a machlokes, if you remember, that Reish Lakish says if he just sticks his hand in, he still gets malchus, because it says what? Bechol kodesh lo tigav yal hamikdash lo tavo. Just like if you go into the mikdash, you get malchus. So too, if you go ahead and you put your hand in, you get malchus as well. It's interesting. If you go into the mikdash, it sounds like according to him, you get malchus and you get kares. Because you get kares for going into the mikdash when you're tamei. But it sounds like you get malchus as well. So Ravina Marle Inyan Malchus Idmar. This whole thing about sticking your hand in, again, we're talking about tamei shehechnes yado lifnim, sticking your hand in. If this is the border, sticking your hand in gets malchus. That's only for malchus, as opposed to what? That's also for malchus, as opposed to kares. You don't get kares. So it sounds like if you walk into the mikdash in your tamei, you get kares. If you stick your hand into the mikdash in your tamei, you don't get kares, you get malchus. Says the Gemara, Kiyasa Rabin Amar Rabbi Avahu, Linyan tamei shenaga bekodesh itmar. Comes along Rabin and Nei Rabbi Avahu and says, that's not a tamei, that's not just for putting your hand into the mikdash, that's a tamei who touches kodesh. Did Mar tamei shenaga bekodesh Reish Lakish Amar Loke, Rabbi Yochanan Amar Eino Loke. Now we have a new case. A tamei person who touches kodesh stuff, not even in the mikdash, outside at home. I'm sitting here and this is kodesh and I'm tamei. If I touch this, Reish Lakish says I get malchus. Rabbi Yochanan says I don't get malchus. Reish Lakish Amar Loke, because it says clearly in the pasuk bechol kodesh lo tiga. You can't touch kodesh. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Eino Loke ahu betruma ksiv. When it says you can't touch kodesh, it's talking about truma. If you're tamei, you can't touch truma. If you touch truma, you get malchus. If you're tamei and you touch regular kodesh, you don't get malchus. Says the Gemara, I don't understand. Reish Lakish, 1 second. You're telling me that if I touch this and I'm tamei and this is kodesh, I get malchus because it says bichol kodesh lo tiga. Literally, you cannot touch kodesh when you're tamei. I understand. You can't have your cake and eat it too, Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish haikrala hachi udasa hamibayale leazhara leochel basar kodesh. We know elsewhere that Reish Lakish uses that pasuk of bichol kodesh lo tiga to teach me something else. Not that if I touch kodesh and I'm tamei, I get malchus, but that I can't eat kodesh when I'm tamei. Now, the fact that it says b'chol kodesh lo tiga, you shouldn't touch it, is going to be something that's going to be very important in 1 second. Idmar, azhara la'ochel basar kodesh minayin. Where do you have a warning that you can't eat basar kodesh when you're tamei? Reish Lakish amar b'chol kodesh lo tiga. So again, the problem is you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have two things learned from the same pasuk. So Reish Lakish is learning b'chol kodesh lo tiga. You can't touch kodesh to mean you can't eat kodesh when you're tamei. But it doesn't say anything right now about touching kodesh. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan amar tarni barda. Askia tumaso mi bias kodesh. Malahalan anish v'hizir. Afkan anish v'hizir. Every single lav, as we've said before, needs to have two things. If the Torah would just say, if you kill somebody, you will die, that's not enough. You need to have a separate place that says, thou shalt not kill. That's the ashara. Don't get confused with hasra. Again, important for the day. We always have our concepts for the day. This is the concept for the day. There's something called ashara. There's something called hasra. Hasra means if you're holding a gun and you're about to shoot the guy next to you, then I have to warn you beforehand. If you kill somebody without being warned, you don't get the death penalty. In American law, in Canadian law, you can. But if you kill somebody in Jewish law without being warned, you don't get the death penalty. If you're holding a gun and I say, doctor, do you understand that if you kill the guy next to you, and there's two witnesses here, do you understand that you're going to get the death penalty? And you say yes, and you kill him anyway, then you've been given hasra, you've been warned, and now lemaisa you'll get the death penalty. That's hasra. Azhara is not a human being talking, that's God talking. Azhara means that in the Torah needs to warn you, or else you're not going to be held liable. Which again means that the Torah needs to say, lo tirtzach, do not kill, thou shalt not kill, that's the warning of the Torah. And then it also needs to say, if somebody kills, then you're going to be punished. You'll get kares, you'll get malchus, you'll get the death penalty. Now, it happens to be that for all 100 and 365 lo sa'ases, so clearly there's going to be a diuk for every single one of the 365. There will be a warning in the Torah, and there'll be a lav in the Torah. The question is, what's the warning, and where do you see the actual prohibition? So again, lo tirtzach could be the warning, and then the actual prohibition could be something else, or the onesh, I should say. So it has a warning, and then the punishment if you do the thing. Each one has two things. So over here, he's learning that we know it's usher to eat holy meat when you're tamei. Where's the warning for that? So Reish Lakish uses this pasuk, bechol kodesh lo tiga. Now the only problem is, if he's using this pasuk, bechol kodesh lo tiga, thou shalt not touch holy meat, which is interesting. But if he's using that pasuk to say, thou shalt not eat holy meat when you're tamei, then you no longer have a pasuk to teach me that who is tamei shall not touch holy meat. And we'll see in a second, he's going to learn it from this pasuk. Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Rabbi Yochanan says, how do you know that, where's the warning that you can't eat holy meat when you're tamei? Tani bardala, asya tumaso mi bias kodesh. Mala halan anash v'hizir, afkan anash v'hizir. We know by bias kodesh, by going into kodesh when you're tamei, by walking in, there's a punishment, and there's a separate pasuk that there's an ashara. Rabbi Yochanan says we're making a gezerat shava of similar words from eating kodesh to walking into the mikdash. And therefore, just like we know that by walking into the mikdash we have not only a warning pasuk, we have a punishment pasuk as well. Based on this gezerat shava, the word of vitumaso, I can learn that even though I don't have a specific pasuk by eating kodesh when I'm tamei, even though I don't have a specific pasuk that warns me not to eat kodesh when I'm tamei, since I'm making a gezerat shava to the case of going into the mikdash when I'm tamei, I can consider it as if I have a pasuk. So now what's Reish Lakish going to say? So Reish Lakish seemingly can say like that as well. Reish Lakish now is agreeing. We're going to see in a second. Reish Lakish agrees. Where's the pasuk that warns me? Again, we have two things here. We have eating, you're tamei, nothing to talk about. We're talking about a regular person who's tamei. A regular person who's tamei. A regular person. People can go into the... It depends. There are certain types of kodesh that a person can eat. Certain types of meat that a person can eat, depending on what the korban is. So either a kohen or a regular person who's eating holy meat. So now you're tamei. So we have two isurim. A, as we've talked about many times, you can't go into the mikdash when you're tamei, and you can't eat holy meat when you're tamei. We have a warning and a punishment if you go into the mikdash when you're tamei. The warning is a separate pasuk, and the punishment is if you do it on purpose, you get kares. If not, or either way, you'll get malchus. We have the punishment, seemingly, for eating it when you're tamei. you get malchus, right? So now the question is, where's the warning? So Reish Lakish, and now seemingly Rabbi Yochanan and seemingly Reish Lakish as well are going to say, well, we have a hekesh, we have the word tumaso here and the word tumaso here. Just like we already have a pasuk that warns us by going into the mikdash tamei, I can use that very same pasuk based on this gzerat shava, this similar word, to tell me that I can't eat the food that's kodesh when I'm tamei. So now the question is, what do we do with this pasuk bechol kodesh lo tiga? Bechol kodesh lo tiga comes along Rabbi Reish Lakish and says, now I have that pasuk. What can I learn from that pasuk? That it's also not only to go into the mikdash when you're tamei, it's also not only to eat from kodesh when you're tamei. What else is it also to do? Bechol kodesh lo tiga. It's also to touch the kodesh food when you're tamei as well, because that's a chiddush. I would understand why I can't go into the mikdash tamei. I understand why I can't eat the food when I'm tamei. But to say that I can't actually touch the food when I'm tamei, that's from bechol kodesh lo tiga. And that's what we're going to end with today. Says the Gemara, Tamei shenaga bekodesh mida'afka rachmana belashon negia. Ashara la'ochel mida'itkish kodesh lemikdash. So you can learn a few things from this pasuk of bechol kodesh lo tiga ve'el hamikdash lo tavo. You learn first of all from the fact that it's so close to bechol ve'el hamikdash lo tavo that you can't go ahead and you can eat. Just like you can't go into the mikdash when you're tamei, you can't eat kodesh when you're tamei. But the fact that he uses the word bechol kodesh lo tiga, even though it's talking about bechol kodesh lo tochal, you can't eat the kodesh, even though it uses the word negia to touch it, it's teaching me that not only is it usher to eat it, it's usher to touch it as well. Tani kavase de Reish Lakish bechol kodesh lo tiga ashara laochel. Ata omer ashara laochel ve'eino elo lenogea. Tamla bechol kodesh lo tiga ve'al mikdash lo tavo. Makish kodesh lemikdash. Ma mikdash davar sheyesh bo netilas neshama kares av kodesh davar sheyesh bo netilas neshama. Again, you clearly see here that you get kares if you're warned for going into the mikdash when you're tamei or for eating kodesh when you're tamei. However, ve'ibn ogea netilas neshama be'ika ela be'achila. So again, it comes out at this point of the Gemara. It is asur with a chi of kares to go into the mikdash when you're tamei. It's asur with a chi of kares to eat kodesh when you're tamei. Bechol kodesh lo tiga, which seems to be superfluous now and not necessary because it's talking about eating, but it uses the word negia, teaches me that if you go ahead and touch food when you are tamei, you won't get kares, but you will get malchus as a punishment. So you have two kareses and one malchus. If you're tamei and you go into the mikdash kares, if you're tamei and you eat kodesh, you get kares, and if you're tamei and you touch kodesh, then you'll get malchus.